Hey, what's up everyone? This is Jabari Mongoose here with episode 16 of my Pokémon Black Randomizer Nuzlocke challenge. This is an exciting day. I get to start to challenge the Elite Four. Right now we're going to go ahead and review my team. We got 4 familiar faces. Starting off we have Pinchy, the Drapion, who has the battle armor, the black sludge. He is rocking Bite, Drill Peck, Poison Fang, and Toxic Spikes. Then we got Helios the Volcarona, who has Fiery Dance, Discharge, Psy Strike this time, and Silver Wind. Then we got Love Song the Raichu, who I changed up. He's now rocking the Wide Lens and has High Jump Kick, Rock Throw, Bolt Strike, and Thunderbolt. And then we have Chomper the Druddigon. He has the rough skin and the rocky helmet. His moves are Aqua Jet, Dragon Claw, Crunch, and U-Turn. And then now we got a new member. We got Venus the Carnivine using him for his Levitate. He has Choice Band, and then he has Crunch, Bite, Vine Whip, and Double Edge. Now he has been edged to as close to 51 as I can, because at 51 he learns Power Whip. So we are going to make sure that I get him to 51 as soon as possible to get rid of that Vine Whip. And then finally we have Landshark the Garchomp, who has Sand Veil, has the Expert Belt, and his moves are Dig, Crunch, Dragon Claw, and Heat Crash. Now, unfortunately, that means BB the Celebi is not going to be joining during the Elite Four at least. And that is because I wanted a ground type immunity, and I felt Venus the Carnivine could do a pretty good job at it, especially because it is immune and then it can hit back with Power Whip against those pesky ground and rock type Pokemon. Maybe not the best choice, but I kind of like it and we're going to give it a try. Okay, so now the first up, we're going to go up against Marshall. Now, since this is a randomizer, we are going to I can't prepare for any particular Pokemon, so we're just going to go from right to left, starting with Marshall and ending with Chantel. Now, Marshall leads with his Bulbasaur, which is perfect for Carnivine, but the Bulbasaur on a crit could have killed with a Double Edge, which I did not expect. But Carnivine kills him with 2 crunches, and then Marshall brings out his Ho-Oh, which I then switch immediately to Landshark, hoping to resist a Fire-type move. And basically right now it is just 3 crunches, and Ho-Oh is taken down. And then Venus gets to level 51, and he gets his Power Whip, so I immediately get rid of that Vine Whip. And now the team is 100% ready. So then he brings out Cyndaquil, and I decide to go for a Dig, figuring out Outspeed and figuring Dig would kill the Cyndaquil in 1 hit. And then his last Pokemon is Ammonite. Now Carnivine is too weakened to safely switch in, so I'm bringing in Raichu to go ahead and Bolt Strike it. Now I was a little stupid, and I had battle animations turned off for when I was grinding for this, but basically after that sort of sloppy match, I heal up and I turn on the battle animations for the rest of this Elite Four challenge. Next up is, I believe this is Caitlin. And then her starter is Mawile, which I just go ahead and have Pinchy, who will be my lead from now on, not Venus, for the Toxic Spikes setup. All Mawile is doing is setting up Iron defenses though. So after 2 layers of Toxic Spikes, I hard switch immediately into Helios. I don't think Mawile can really do anything. And it's just going for Iron defense. Mawile, for a fact, does not have the best of special defense, so 1 Fiery Dance is enough to get the knockout. I don't get the special attack boost. And here she brings out Meloetta, which I thought this was weird, so I took a minute to look up Meloetta's moveset, and it knows acrobatics. So, not wanting to chance it because Helios doesn't have the best of physical defense, I hard switch into Druddigon, which does take the acrobatics, but then Meloetta takes the Rocky Helmet, Rough Skin, then Toxic damage. It then opts to go for a U-turn, which takes even more chip damage and goes right into Cubchoo, which Druddigon gets a very nice crunch on. Now, because Druddigon is slow, it probably did outspeed the Cubchoo, but I wanted to play it safe and just bring in the Drapion, but Cubchoo just opts to go for a rest, which is fine. This just means I can get a few bites in and get the... Oh yeah, that's right. Basically, I am doing just enough damage to proc healing items, which, you know what, I am okay with this. So yeah, a few turns of heal stalling, I get the knockout, she brings in the Meloetta, and I get the knockout with the bite. And then her last Pokemon is a male Nidoran, which absorbs the Toxic Spikes, but it doesn't matter anymore. And because I'm fully healed, I opt to stay in against Confusion. And the Nidoran isn't going to be able to do much. So eventually I break out of the Confusion, get a Drill Peck in, and that is 2 Elite Four members taken out with no deaths. Alright, next up is Grimsley. So he starts off really strong. He brings in a Golurk. So I actually took a minute to look this up. Golurk does not know Earthquake. He knows Earthquake at level 50. So I decided to not set up Toxic Spikes. I just wanted to go ahead and get the kill on the Golurk. So 2 bites was enough, and I got the flinch too, which is awesome. Then he brings out a Minccino, which... and I just decided to go ahead and get the kill. Minccino does have multi-hit moves, so I didn't want to play around with that, even though I won't get critted. So then his next Pokemon is Wartortle, and here gets a little annoying because he goes ahead and uses Iron Defense. So really not going to be able to get a lot of strong hits in with Drapion anymore. So here I'm thinking, and what I decided to do is go right into Chomper, because Wartortle does know some physical moves like Skull Bash. But as you can see, I'm not doing much. Now, Wartortle does outspeed me, so this is where I get a slow U-turn, which is why I gave it to Druddigon before the Elite Four. This allowed me to safely switch into Love Song, who gets the Thunderbolt. Glad I kept it for a little bit of variance. And then here, his last Pokemon is a Dunsparce. Now, Bolt Strike or a High Jump Kick almost gets to kill, but he sets up a Coil. Now, this is where I messed up. See, I looked at Bulbapedia's moveset, and you have to really pay attention where the black and white movesets were. I thought it knew Drill Run here, but actually that's not black and white, that's black 2 and white 2. So right here, it really just knows Takedown, Roost, and Coil, and it knows one more move, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's not Drill Run. So here, I unfortunately make an error and switch into Druddigon, and then I misclicked. I really meant to use a Dragon Claw, but I accidentally hit Aqua Jet, and so the Dunsparce gets the Roost heal, which means it has a greater chance to get a knockout on me. Now he's getting full heal restores, and right here, this is when I knew I had to switch out. I've been risking crits this whole time. So now I go into Drapion, who basically at this point, I'm just praying for bite flinches. Used up all of Grimsley's heal items, and so now the Dunsparce just has Roost. At the very least, as long as I can make it heal and I'm getting Black Sludge heals, I can keep this in, keep Drapion in, and just waste Roost PP. And you see right here, I finally get a flinch. I get 2 flinches. So no more Roost heals, no more Dunsparce. This could have ended worse, to where I could have lost at least 1, maybe at worst 2, but probably at least just Chomper, which would not have been good. I was able, with a little bit of luck, I was able to avoid crits and not get knocked out. So we still have a full team of 6. And finally, we have Chantel. She leads off with a Cubone. I bring in Drapion. Now, Cubone does know the Bone Rush, so I decided to not stay in, and I go right into Venus. But it instead just goes for a Double Edge, which was really weird. So I go in for a Power Whip. It's an easy one-hit KO. Your next Pokemon is a Vanillux, which then I decide to go into Helios, I believe. At this point, I'm looking at Vanilux's moveset. Yes, I do go into Helios, which tanks a Ice Beam, but it gets a crit, and it gets the freeze. And so here I was actually really nervous, but the Vanillux is just opting for Acid Armor and setting up the Hail, which is giving me some more turns to just break out the Frozen status, and I get a Fiery Dance in, and I don't get the special attack boost yet again. So then she brings out her ace, which is a Giratina. Very fitting for her, though. So I like that. Here, I look up Giratina's moveset. It knows 3 Ghost-type moves and an Aura Sphere. So no Dragon-type moves. I go right into Pinchy, which right now she uses Shadow Force. Because I was very confident that Pinchy outsped, I go in for the Toxic Spikes, so that next turn I can go for a Bite. Aura Sphere does a decent chunk of damage, but I can easily calculate how long I can stay in this, keep Pinchy in, because I can't get critted. I actually hard switch into Garchomp, take a Shadow Force, and then get an easy Dragon Claw for the knockout. And then her last Pokemon is Clink. So even it's interesting, it uses a Gear Grind. I was like, maybe it can do something, but no. Garchomp Dig gets the KO, and that is it. The Elite Four is taken care of. A little sloppy in some cases, but overall very happy with how that went. No deaths. So because I had no deaths, I am now going to go straight to N. I don't need to go to the box. I don't need to grab any more Pokemon. This is a randomizer. I have no idea what N and Getsis are bringing. So now it is just confront N, confront Alder. Sharon talks about how he beat the Elite Four. I'm happy for you, buddy. But now I have to go ahead and confront N. And I decided to keep this scene in too because I just like it. I like seeing all the gym leaders come in to distract the elders to allow us to face off against N without any hassle. So very nice stuff. Very, very nice stuff. So I don't stay long in N's castle. I just head straight to the throne room and get ready for the fight. There's items that I can get, but they're all randomized. I'm happy with the items I have, and I don't need to go back and get new Pokemon because I didn't lose anyone in my fight against the Elite Four. So all in all, I'm happy with how everything went. A few accidents and close calls against the Elite Four, but now it's just time to do my last 2 fights. 12 Pokemon left I have to defeat, and after that, it's done. My first recorded Nuzlocke challenge will be done. So my legendary encounter is Mewtwo, and I just go ahead and catch it. I'm allowed to. This is a new area, and I have the Master Ball, so I get Mewtwo. I will not add him to my final team. I will also nickname him Cooler in honor of Frieza's brother. It's in one of the DBZ movies. Correct me if that's not his name. But anyway, now it's time to start. So I was expecting for N to have a level 52 legendary, but instead it was a level 52 Rhyperior, which is also just as scary. See, the Zekrom, you won't hear it from the audio, but when I was playing, the Zekrom's cry was a Raikou cry, and so I was mentally preparing for that. But he has a Rhyperior. I don't want to keep Drapion in because it does have Drill Run, so I make the switch into Venus. And sure enough, I made the correct call. So I go in for a Power Whip, and Rhyperior is much faster, hits a Hammer Arm, and I land the Power Whip. And this will take out the Rhyperior. His next Pokemon is Hoppip. Now, you may think it's just a Hoppip, but a Skiploom just killed my Ludicolo. So I was actually a little nervous that this had Acrobatics. And it has Bounce, because since it learns moves a lot quicker than Skiploom, it actually forgot the Acrobatics. But I decided to make a hard switch into, I believe it was... back into Drapion. That's right. Because other than getting paralyzed, the bounce won't do much in terms of damage, and I wanted to get some Toxic Spikes set up. And then one Ice Fang will just obliterate this Hoppip. And really not showing too much of powerful Pokemon right now. I'm getting lucky on that. You know, the Rhyperior was obviously scary, but going then to a Hoppip and into a Bidoof, it's getting me pretty confident, but he could still have some scary guys in the back. So, Pinchy does an excellent job of dealing with the Bidoof thanks to the Toxic Spikes. And then his next Pokemon is a Blastoise. So, that is a lot scarier. Checking its moveset, because I did face a Wartortle recently, it basically has the same moveset. It basically has Skull Bash, it has the Iron Defense, and I believe it can set up Rain, and it has like Hydro Pump or... no, it has Aqua Tail. So what I decided to do is I decided to repeat what I did against a Wartortle, and I make a switch to Chomper. This was, of course, the right call because I get hit by a resisted Aqua Tail, and it takes the Rough Skin plus the Rocky Helmet damage, and then it also gets the poison damage from the Toxic Spikes. So things are looking good here. I then decide to go into the U-turn, and it doesn't see a kill of any of its moves, so it decides to just go for the Iron Defense. And so I hit a U-turn, or a slow U-turn, and then I go into Love Song. who I then just immediately send out a Thunderbolt. And then his next Pokemon is a Duat. So, feeling very, very confident right now. And I just go for the Bolt Strike. Again, Love Song has the wide lens, so it's it's close to 95%, I believe. And then his last Pokemon, so he does have a legendary on his team. It just wasn't the first one. And it's a Heatran. So, Heatran still has more physical moves right now. Like, if I remember correctly, it has like a Fire Fang and stuff. But I didn't want to keep Raichu in because it's not the most defensive. And I make the hard switch into Land Shark. So he's just doing a scary face right now. And just one dig is enough to get the knockout. So a clean sweep on N, no losses on our end. So really happy about that. So next we go through some story. I'm going to breeze through this as fast as I can. N is going to be a good guy later on, but Getsis is evil. And so now this is the final fight. Now, since this is the last match, I can be more reckless with my Mons in terms of making sure to get KOs. Like, I'm not going to just throw them all to die. I will still be making as much strategic plays as I can. So his first Pokemon out is a Walrein. Now, Walrein here does know Blizzard. It also knows Ice Fang. So right here, I set up my Toxic Spikes per usual, and it hits the 70% accurate Blizzard, and it deals a very good chunk of damage to Pinchy. And here, I start making a decision of what plays I can do, and I ultimately decide I really wanted the second layer of Toxic Spikes out, so I keep Pinchy in, and he's probably gonna die, but he avoids the Blizzard. So I decide to stay in again, and I get the bite in, but he misses another Blizzard. So Pinchy being a trooper here, I use one more bite, and I get hit, and those turns of misses saved Pinchy, plus the Black Sludge recovery, because otherwise he would have died. I then decide to switch into Helios on the last Blizzard, because I didn't think about it first, but Volcarona being more specially bulky, I pivot into him to take the Blizzard, or switch into taking the Blizzard, and then I use a Discharge to get the KO. Now his next Pokemon is a Graveler. This is actually pretty scary, with Helios being 4 times weak to Rock. So what I do is I switch into Carvanha or Venus, because I think he'd be faster than a Graveler. The interesting thing is, Getsa sets up his own hazards with Stealth Rocks. So here I go for the Power Whip, and this Graveler is faster than Carnivine and hits the Self-Destruct. But Carnivine hangs on by just a slither. Getsus brings out the Skunk Tank, and this guy is pretty scary. And looking at its moves, it definitely knows like Flamethrower, and I can't remember if it knew like Night Slash or Dark Pulse or something. But basically, I don't really want to switch him in on anything because I don't know if he's going to use Flamethrower or not. So I actually opt to keep Venus in so I can get a clean switch in on Chomper. So thank you, Venus. You did awesome for the little bit I used you. So RIP, buddy. So yeah, Landshark comes in to avenge Venus, and I go straight for the dig. Nice work. Then his next Pokemon is a Wooper. After having very decent Pokemon, he then throws a Wooper out at me. And doesn't even hit me with anything, just uses a Mist. So, just two... oh yeah, he uses up a full Restore here. Which I'm okay with, just using ways to use up all of his items. And then he has 2 Pokemon left, and I've only lost 1, so feeling very good about this. But it's not over until I can knock out every last one of his Mons. So he brings out the Mandibuzz. Dragon Claw, looks like if I can get high rolls, it could be a 3-hit KO. But he does have the Dark Pulse. Unfortunately, I got him. He probably survived on like 1 or 2 HP left. So here, I decided to make the call to hard switch into Raichu because I was predicting a heal. Unless I missed it, I could have sworn Getsus has only used 1 full restore, and trainers usually use 2. But I switch in, and I get hit with a Dark Pulse. Unfortunately, didn't get crit. I don't think it would have killed, but Raichu comes in, is faster, gets the Thunderbolt. And so then his last Pokemon, his ace for this randomizer, is a Hitmontop. So I decide to keep Love Song in right now, just see what he would do. And to my disappointment on this Hitmontop not playing much of a fight, it's just going to be quick guarding and detecting for the rest of this game. So it's a little bit of a letdown. I was expecting a little bit more, but you know, this is what happens with a randomizer. I feel like I got pretty lucky with a lot of the Elite Four and the N and Getsus Pokemon. They had a decent amount of pre-evolutions on their teams, so able to take full advantage of it. Wasn't easy getting up to here though. That's it. That is it. I just beat my very first recorded Nuzlocke challenge, and I got it, and it was a hardcore level too. I didn't use any items during matches, and never used Pokemon over the level caps. So yeah, I'm very happy. I'm even now excited to get started on my next one. So this will go up on Wednesday of this week. No video Friday. Instead, I'm going to be working on my next Nuzlocke challenge, which will be a randomizer of Soul Silver with a little bit of a twist. Because I think I know how I want my randomizers to be moving forward. But I will post more information about that. But until then, I'm Jabari Mongoose, and I'll see you guys next week.